two of the biggest objections ever when asking for referrals are gone. G-O-N-E, gone, don't even exist. You'll never hear them ever, ever again if you use this scout method. I want to show you the easiest, fastest, most simple, mind-blowing technique that you can use immediately to generate massive amounts of referrals. I'm talking about if you do this, it can generate hundreds of referrals for you. And this is so simple and straightforward. I cannot for the life of me figure out why more people are not doing this. And so let me first tee up the issue that this solves, because the number one thing, maybe you've asked people for referrals before, right? And you say, hey, is there anyone you can refer if you're using the stuff that we teach, like in our other videos or in our sales courses? Use the word introduction. You don't use the word referral. You say, is there anyone you can introduce me to, blah, 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 blah. And the number one thing that people always say is they go, gosh, I can't think of anyone. That's what they say, right? I can't think of anyone right now. Well, what if I could show you a way that you literally would never, ever hear that response when you ask for referrals? Like, would that be valuable to you? Hopefully it would. My guess is that it would. Another thing that people will say to you, right, when you go and you will ask for referrals is they'll say, oh, I don't feel comfortable giving out anybody's name, right? Sometimes you hear that. Well, I'm going to show you how to make sure you never hear them say that ever again either. Like, those two things are like two of the biggest objections that we hear when we ask for referrals. And this technique is so simple and so easy and so straightforward. I just cannot figure out why nobody would do it. And my guess is it's because you don't know how to do it. No one has sat down and said, look, like, watch this video from Rory, pay attention. Like, this is a technique that anybody can do to generate more referrals. Now, here's what it starts with. This is something that we call the scout method. The scout method. And you know, a lot of times if you ask for referrals, what you're doing is you're trying to have access to somebody's brain of everybody they know, and it's hard. Like, it's hard for us to recall a lot of information quickly on the spot and have to sift through it and be like, oh my gosh, like who should I connect you to? Who should I introduce you to? Well, instead of doing that, you're going to use LinkedIn to scout the people you want to be introduced to, like a talent scout, right? Like, think of a sports scout. What do? They go and they scout talent. They look at it first. They watch people first, and then they kind of like talk to the coach to get an introduction to the player. That's what talent scouts do. So that's what we're going to do here. And we're going to use LinkedIn, which is a free tool. This is a free feature. Like, this is available to everybody on LinkedIn, which is hundreds of millions of people. Like, you can do this immediately. Now, the very first step of this is you have to connect with people on LinkedIn. You have to actually be friends with somebody on LinkedIn in order for this to work. And when you do the scout method, all we're going to do here is real simple. We're going to look at the second degree connections of our second degree connections. In other words, we're trying to look to see, who do the people we know? Who is it? Who are the people that we know? Or who do the people that we know? So it's not our first degree connections. Those are the people that we know. Referrals and introductions is all about basically second degree connections. That's what they are. So we need to figure out who are the people that know the people that we know. Well, that is what LinkedIn is. It literally tells you, it gives it to you. I mean, imagine if somebody handed you their personal cell phone, like everyone that you know and trust, if they handed your cell phone and they said, yeah, sure, Rory, like, just tell me, here's my phone, just take it and go through my contacts and tell me who you want to be introduced to. I mean, would that be incredible? That would be incredible. Well, guess what? That's exactly what LinkedIn is. It tells you who to be introduced to, and it's not hard. It's easy. In fact, I'm going to show my screen, which I don't always do this unless we're in an actual training in one of our paid courses trainings. But this is just one that I know can just change your life. And so I'm going to show it to you because it's so simple. All right. So here's what you do. You log in to LinkedIn, right? So this is on my homepage at LinkedIn. Now, all you would do, you could do this with anyone in your network. So you would just click on my network, and then you click on your connections over here. So apparently I've got 12,000 connections, and you could do this with anybody. Now, just for privacy, I'm going to use my wife and business partner, AJ. Okay. So you could do this with I've got 12,000. I've got a lot of connections. I mean, some people have hundreds of thousands, I think, but I've got, 12,000. You might have 500. It doesn't matter. If you have more than 10, this is going to be huge for you. All right. So let's look at AJ's just for the sake of privacy, right? So I come in here to AJ's profile. And then this is the key right here. See where it says 500 plus connections? This is what you're looking for. So now I am on AJ's profile and I'm connected to AJ, and I want to see who AJ knows. And so I'm going to click on this 500 plus connections, and boom, this pulls up a list of 991 people that AJ is connected to that I am not connected to. What does that sound like? That sounds a lot like a referral. It sounds a lot like an introduction. It is exactly this. This is a list of 991 people that she is connected to that I am not. These are people she knows that I do not, and they are her first degree connections, which is exactly what we want. That's what referrals are all about. So what is the scout method? All I'm going to do with this scout method is I pull up LinkedIn, I find one person, and look, I can scroll this list of 991 people that AJ knows. Look at this. I can come down here and I can say, show me all of these people, and I can click through page by page, and I just all I do is I make a list of the people I want to be introduced to, right? So I take out these names and I just go through, and then when I talk to AJ, I don't have to say, who do you know? And she'll never say, I can't think of anyone. And she'll never say, I don't feel comfortable giving out their name. I already have their name. I got their name off of LinkedIn because we're connected. And so it doesn't even come up. So two of the biggest objections ever when asking for referrals are gone. G-O-N-E, gone, don't even exist. You'll never hear them ever again if you use this scout method from Brand Builders Group. It's so simple. It is so straightforward. Anybody can do this. And so that's what I want you to do is when you have your next meeting with a prospect, with a customer, with your family member, colleague, you can get referrals from anybody. Go connect with them on LinkedIn before the meeting, and then scroll all of their contacts and look at the people and just make a list of, whatever, 5, 10, 15, 20 people that you want to ask them about. And so rather than them having to come up with names, they can simply go, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, and boom, you are in. This is a gold mine. Y'all, LinkedIn is free. It boggles my mind. I cannot get my brain wrapped around the idea that salespeople in this day and age don't have enough warm leads. This is not cold calling. These are warm leads, and you have access to tens of thousands of them, probably hundreds of thousands, even millions of them, if you just have a handful of contacts on LinkedIn. So use the what we call the scout method at Brand Builders Group. Go on to LinkedIn, click a couple buttons, do this before your meeting, and I promise you will generate massive, massive referrals.